I've been on a bit of a Reprolabels kick lately, and it is amazing how a nice sticker set can take an already great figure and turn it into something incredible. Obviously, we're talking about Legacy Dragstrip. I mean, it is the title of the video, and it's the toy that's in my hand. And yeah, I don't really know how best to approach this because I never did a regular video on this toy. I got a Reprolabels set and immediately applied it. I'm just gonna talk about the stickers, I guess, and kind of touch on the toy itself as well. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do this as I'm recording, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Legacy Dragstrip is great as a standalone figure. The problem with the figure, though, for me, was that it was very bare bones yellow. Originally, without the stickers, there is some variation to what's on there, like you've got the red stripes that are painted along the sides. There's the brown and red on the scoop, or whatever you want to call it, on the front, along with the Decepticon logo. There is that brown going along what would be the driver's section. There's, of course, the silver for the engines, and then there's the brown and red on the spoiler. So there is some paint on the figure originally. It's just very yellow, in particular in robot mode, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I do really like what the Reprolabels set adds to the car mode. You've got these little discs that you put into the wheels that allow you to put stickers on them to make the wheels not stand out as much. I almost would have preferred having a silver rim option like you have for the back wheel, and then I could just paint or Sharpie over the mushroom pegs, but it's fine for what it is. I do think it's kind of neat that you get stickers that you can pop behind the wheels to add kind of like mechanical detail on like the inside, which you barely see. A little unnecessary, but it's kind of neat. But I do like the other minor details that are added along the vehicle mode, like the black that's standing out on the scoop in the front, the black details that are picked out with stickers along the front section of the car, and then the brown on the very end is also stickers, which does a pretty good job of matching the paint that's already there. And then you also have these red bits along the sides of the driver's section, which I think work really nicely. And then you also have the number and word stickers that you've got in a few other random places, like along the sides. I like it. It's not as overblown as some of the advertising stickers I've seen on, say, Jazz. Not that I think there's anything wrong with that. It's fine if that's what you want for your Jazz and everything. I just personally think it looks a little busy when they go that hard on the sponsor stickers for toys like this. Again, the vehicle mode wasn't a solid yellow brick, so the colors that the sticker sheet adds aren't quite as essential, but it does help to nicely mix up the color scheme a little bit more. Dragstrip also comes with two pistols, and there are stickers for the pistols, particularly the backs of the scopes. You can put stickers back there to make it look like there's actually like a targeting reticle that he's seeing from the other side of the scope. Not essential by any means, but it's there. And now the guns are cast in solid black and then have this really kind of nice metallic-y looking purple paint on them, which is cool. You don't really get it anywhere else in the vehicle mode at all, but it's a nice paint. And as you can probably tell and have probably also seen from other videos that you've undoubtedly watched before this one, you can plug the guns into the ports that are on the sides of the car, like right behind the driver's section. Give him these little guns sticking off the sides, and I don't mind that look. I kind of like that he has two guns instead of one, because it gives it a more symmetrical feel when you plug them in. Now, in terms of size, Dragstrip is a deluxe, so he's roughly deluxe size as a car, and that's the tracks. He's maybe a little narrow, a little bit longer, because, you know, Formula One-ish car. It works for what it is what I'm saying. Dragstrip's transformation is simple, but really clever for what it is. The legs kind of do the Combiner Wars thing, but they do it in a really interesting way. I like how the spoiler flips down to become the feet, which is typical for Dragstrip, but it's neat that they kept that element intact. The legs are also pretty nicely closed up when all's said and done. You get a little bit of a gap on the inside of the leg around the knees, but that's not too bad. But it's the upper body that I really think is cool. I love how the driver's section pivots around 180 degrees to change that entire orientation, and how the entire front of the car splits apart and accordions down to bulk out the chest, to give him a proper chest shape, and then that whole thing reshapes in really interesting ways, with the scoop on the front becoming these weird kind of shoulder pads. The panels that were filling out the sides of the car flip around to just kind of cover up the forearms a little bit. And I also really like how the wheels from the front of the car work. Because Dragstrip typically has the two wheels on his shoulders, and they're typically horizontal, at least as it pertains to the orientation of his robot mode body. And so instead of having the entire wheel section with both wheels flip around, they just have this one panel with one of the wheels on that flips up. And so you still get the proper Dragstrip shoulder wheels shape, but only one of the wheels actually has to move. That's really clever. It's simple, but really clever. And I also like and took advantage of this. The sticker set actually doesn't have you do this, but I did it because I thought it was kind of fun. You can see there is a Decepticon logo that is revealed around his stomach. And the reason I put the sticker there is because it fits, for one, but also that hinge flips 180 degrees in vehicle mode, so you don't see the Decepticon logo in vehicle mode. Instead, you just see the Con logo on the scoop in the front. So when you transform into robot mode, that big logo on the front of the car gets split in half and ends up on either side of the shoulder, so you don't really see it. And so by transforming him, that sticker becomes visible, and now you've got a Decepticon logo front and center that isn't visible in vehicle mode, but the bigger logo still is. I just thought that was kind of a fun thing. I like how that worked out. And now Legacy Dragstrip's robot mode is really cool. Originally, it did have the issue of being way too yellow for my taste. Like, I still thought it was a really cool figure. It was a really fun figure, but it was really, really yellow. Aside from the wheels, is pretty much the entire figure is yellow, and then you've got that brown in the torso, and then the head, and that's it. And again, it's a really good figure. It's an incredible figure. I love this figure as a standalone Dragstrip, but the color scheme was a bit bland. So I'm really, really thankful for the Reprolabels set because it adds just the right amount of detail. I love that these stickers continue that brown and red detail from the spoiler around to the fronts of the feet. I also like the bits of gray and like the venting that you get that are added to the lower legs, like the shins and knees, and it breaks up the yellow. It's really nice. There are a few really simple but nice stickers that break up the yellow in the pelvis. We've got some stickers breaking up the colors in the forearm, specifically the forearm plates, and also these little gun things in the fronts of the forearm plates, which look pretty nice. The red that you saw alongside the driver's section in vehicle mode really adds some nice accents to the torso. This set also did come with stickers to cover some of the metal pins that you can see sticking out when you're looking at the back of the figure. I feel like it's completely unnecessary because you do not see these pins in vehicle mode and you only see them in robot mode if you look at them from the back. But as with the other pin cover stickers that we've gotten with the more recent Reprolabels sets, I appreciate the fact that they're there. Like, if you've got the space on the sticker sheet, you may as well use it, right? Now that head is also very Dragstrip. It's pretty much the only other place you get that dark metallic-y purple that was on the guns. So it's nice to see it pop up somewhere else. It's just not super prominent on the figure. But it's a very nice Dragstrip head. There is a sticker going across the visor to give it more of a metallic red look instead of just the regular red look, which does set it off pretty nicely. And then of course the silver, somewhat disgruntled looking face also works out pretty well. It's a nice Dragstrip head. It's got the right details. I like the red helmet kind of sitting around this silver face, and you got the ears sticking out, and that purple bit on top. It's a good looking head. Anyway, as for articulation, the head can turn left and right. It cannot look up or down or tilt left and right. It's just on a swivel. The arms can do a full 360, though you do have to be a little careful of the scoop chunks that are sticking over the shoulders. They're on ball joints, so you can angle them a little bit if you want to get a little bit more clearance going backwards, but you do kind of have to work around them. Anyway, in addition to the 360 rotation, you also get in and out that goes to almost 90. You get a bicep swivel, you get slightly past 90 degrees of elbow bend, and that's it for the arms. You don't get any wrist articulation. You do have a waist swivel. The hips can go forward to almost 90 and back to almost a little bit more, almost 90. You can go out past 90. Get a thigh rotation, get a 90-degree bend at the knee, and the knees can also bend forward very slightly due to the way the hinge is set up. And then the feet, you can tilt them back a little bit because of the transformation, but they're on kind of like a soft locking point, so you're not really going to be able to cheat it that much. And then you also get a really nice 90-degree ankle tilt. So you get some pretty decent posability out of Dragstrip. I do kind of wish that you got a little bit of up and down movement on the head, possibly some side-to-side tilt. That would have been nice, but I imagine they went with something simpler like a swivel because of the fact that it needs to be in a certain orientation to properly pull off the driver's seat look in vehicle mode. And now he does have his guns. His guns can peg into the holes that they pegged into in vehicle mode, which are now in the backs of his legs. There are 4 peg holes along his back that they could also peg into if you want to do that. It looks like you could peg them into the holes on the backs of the forearm plates, but it doesn't really hold. It'll fall out the second you tilt it parallel to the ground. And if you wanted to, you could peg the guns into his shins, but of course, really, you want to put them in his hands. You can put one gun in each hand, or if you want, you notice there is a very distinct looking couple of pegs on the right side of each gun and a very distinct and matching set of peg holes on the other side of each gun. So you can peg them both together to make one big double barrel blaster. And he can hold it. He can only hold it with one peg in one hand, but if you wanted to give him a chunky double barrel blaster, you absolutely could do that. Personally, I prefer to just give him one gun in each hand, do the dual wield thing. I think that looks cooler. As for size, Dragstrip is a Legacy Deluxe, and as such, he is deluxe size. He's pretty much your average deluxe. But I think he does an adequate amount of stuff. Like I said, he's not the most complicated figure, but there's a lot of really interesting transformation steps, even if it is relatively simple, all things considered. It still would have been nice if there was a little bit more color, or at least color breakup in the robot mode, because it just kind of looks like he's wearing a banana-colored jumpsuit without the stickers, but you can look past it, and it's G1 referential at least, right? But personally, I think the Reprolabels set is, I don't want to say it's a must, because the figure is excellent, but the stickers take an already great figure and turn it into something even greater. And with that, I think I am done talking about Legacy Dragstrip. I've done a lot of videos on Legacy figures lately. That's weird for me. I think I've said all I need to say about what I think. So what do you all think of Legacy Dragstrip? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you everybody for watching, and remember, art is more than meets the eye.